Okay. We're up.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. We're up. And we are back again.
It must be working because I just got a notice saying that you were live on YouTube.
That was nice.
Yeah.
That's nice of them. That's nice of them to do that for us because I didn't do that.
You haven't made all the YouTube people mad yet.
Not yet.
You know, whoever the people are at YouTube that don't like gun people.
Yeah.
People in charge.
They don't like, I shouldn't tell you this, but they did give us a little age restriction on your AC556 video.
What does that mean?
It means that it's only supposed to be shown to people who are 18 and older.
How do we know who's watching it?
We don't.
Do you think 17-year-olds can't see that?
I think a few might find their way in.
Wow. Okay.
So anyways, for everyone out there who hasn't watched the AC556 video,
Pretty much everyone out there.
go give it a view. Go give it a quick watch. This guy says, my wife says I act like I'm 5. So
Age restriction.
age restricted. Boom.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
Let's report that guy to YouTube.
Yeah, he's on here right now.
YouTube should know about this. You have adults acting like children on the site.
Oh, Link's defense. I'm 17 and a half. Can I
Close
still
enough.
watch it?
Yes.
Close enough. Round up. That's the rules of math.
By the time they catch up with you, you'll be 18. Tried like an adult on YouTube, huh?
Tried like an adult on YouTube. All right.
Where are we at? Where are we going to be?
Where
show.
are we at? Yeah, that's the big one.
Mm-hmm.
The boys are at Blade Show this weekend in Atlanta, and they are selling the Winkler Tomahawk, the collaborative Winkler Dead Air Tomahawk, Dead Air Axe, sorry.
I like to call it the DAX.
The DAX, the Dead Air Axe. They are selling the DAX. There are 25 available at Blade Show this weekend. So if you are in the Atlanta area or if you're planning on going to Blade Show, stop by booth 2517.
Display of cans.
Display of cans.
Yeah.
You can go see
I
product.
mean, you go talk cans. We have a static trade show-esque kind of a display set up with John and Tim. No, Kane.
Tony.
Kane,
Kane.
John, and Tony.
Yep. And Trent is there today getting the POS system up and running for him.
Okay, and Trent.
And Jordan will also be there for the next 2 days.
Man, that's quite a little push for Blade Show, right? I mean, I get it's a big deal, but nice.
Yeah. Yeah, the boys are showing up. So, Blade Show in Atlanta this weekend. You can go talk to the guys about some cans. You can go see the DAX, the Dead Air Axe in person. Check it out. Even purchase one if you feel so inclined. And then the only other thing I have on the up and coming is looks like about 2 weeks from now. This will be in Phoenix, Arizona at Tombstone Tactical. So that's on June 21st. Phoenix, Arizona, there will be a Dead Air Day at Tombstone Tactical.
Nice. That's a big place, right?
I think so. I haven't been there myself, but
I've been there. It's been a while.
The Thick Wick, a regular, asked, how many blades do y'all think are at the Blade Show? I don't know if I could guess a number of blades that are at the Blade Show.
Let's say 12,000 if I had to guess. 200,000?
Cody says over 1 million. Think about
Okay.
Cody, big
I don't
blade
know.
guy. So dozens,
Tens of dozens,
certainly dozens,
maybe millions.
um, maybe millions. Okay, so yeah, that's all. That's all I have for announcements.
Okay.
Blade Show and then that Tombstone Tactical. That's all we got for right now.
We can answer some questions.
Yeah,
then.
we'll hop into some questions. Already got a couple rolling in. Oh, Link's Defense said, hey, by the way, the Sandman X is awesome. Just thought you should know.
Nice. Thanks, man.
Yeah, appreciate that. He's been posting it on Instagram. I have seen that, so that is appreciated. Okay, we're gonna start getting right into the questions. What do I need to mount the Wolverine on a Zastava 556 ZPAP 85?
Oh, man, I am not 100% sure if is that 26 millimeter.
I don't know. I could look it up.
Shoot, there's so many, it's hard to keep track of them all. Okay, we'll look it up, and then we'll tell you. We do make if it's 26, you want to get an insert and collar. It comes as a combo in 24 or
Standard thread pitch for 556 ZPAP 85 is 26 by 1.5 left hand.
there you go. We have that.
We got it.
Order that.
Fun fact, just yesterday, we posted a picture of a ZPAP 85 556 with a Wolverine on it on Instagram.
Nice.
Just yesterday.
Like you and this gentleman are all synced up.
Yeah, we're on the same wavelength. So that is a new thread insert and a new collar
Correct.
that you'll need to get. But that'll be nice. And it'll look great. Okay. Here we go. What about the Lazarus 6 with the adjustable top?
Working on that. We just haven't been able to quite get caught up there yet.
Lance, Weekend Gunner, is in the chat. That's actually an old coworker of mine. And now he frequents the local USPSA matches, I believe.
Nice.
Big competitive shooter. Hey, Lance. This guy says, getting ready to buy my first dead air. Congrats.
What are you gonna get?
Yeah, what's on the list there?
Be interested to know.
Mick Dalbello 1. What are we looking at? I have a Sig Rattler LT and debating on which suppressor to get. Should I get a Sig SLH suppressor or go with the Sandman X and Y?
Well, I think that really depends on if you want to, because Sig makes, I mean, obviously that would be like if you wanted it to match, right? Sig rifle and can. Maybe you want it to be a little bit lower back pressure and maybe a little quieter. Then you could mix it up. But I don't know that there's really a wrong answer there. It just depends on what you're trying to get at the end of the day.
Yeah, it does come down to what you're trying to accomplish. I'm gonna say it. I recommend the Sandman X. Big fan of that can, but
I agree, but on a gun that's made for a can combo,
yeah,
it'd be kind of cool to put the right thing on. Like,
I
I'll
do
give
know,
you
yeah.
an example. I bought a Knight's rifle, and I really wanted to get a Knight's can for it. So, like, I put a Knight's can on it. I think that's actually kind of awesome, but to each their own on that.
it is awesome. I'm sure it looks great.
It looks fantastic. Super cool.
Okay. How is the Sandman X on an AK versus the Wolverine?
Sandman X is not bad, but like, and even with the Wolverine, if you were, say, Wasser 10, like a horribly non-concentric gun with like, heaven only knows how they did the end of the muzzle. I've filed a bunch of those guns and brought a Wolverine into where it would work on it. You really want to watch your concentricity. Great sounding can on a AK. It's that it wouldn't be a question of that. It's a does it fit on, you know? Like
Yeah.
you'd be very limited. You couldn't put it on this, like the gentleman that has the question about the Z-Pap. You can't get a Sandman X on that gun, not unless you modify the gun. And I mean, then you could do whatever you wanted if you did that, but there's no way to get 26 mil onto it. So I kind of let that be the guide. I like to do a lot of AKs with Wolverine.
Yeah.
Not so much Sandman X, but you could do it if you want to. It's not going to go on any of the 24 millimeter guns. No AK 100 series too, right?
Yeah. If it works,
You can do it.
I'll say this again. I like a Sandman X on an AK. Well, I like a Sandman X on a Galil. I'll say that because that's what I've shot it on.
Fair.
And I really liked how it sounded. I really liked how it shot. 7.62 by 39.
We're talking Galil Ace that's 5
Galil Ace,
ready,
yes.
right?
Thank you.
Because we don't have a 13 mil for older ARM type Galil
Yep.
muzzle device
Galil Ace Gen
for
2.
Sandman, but we do have for Wolverine.
Yeah. And I really liked that, but that's personal preference.
But we would also assume that gun to be threaded very straight.
Yeah.
I mean, so you wouldn't have the concentricity issue. You just check that with the rod. But great cannon gun combo, yeah.
Yeah.
And they can easily go on.
With the Wolverine, you do get the design feature like throughout the bore that is going to help you mitigate some of the concentricity issues. It's built for that. It's designed for that. Always check, but
Agreed.
that's a selling point of the Wolverine. What would you say is quieter, Mask or the new RXD for rimfire? It's close.
It is close.
It's really close. I think like technically, like overall, looking at the numbers, RXD wins out by a little bit.
RXD will get under a mask by 1 or 2 dB, which is going to be hard at any decibel level to tell. You pretty much need 3 before you really can say this one's quieter than that one. Otherwise, they kind of sound the same.
Yeah, it's so close.
It kind of sounds the same, but a meter will show you that it is a little quieter. I mean, barely.
Yeah, on that, if you're looking to decide between those two, I think it again comes down to features that you're looking for rather than which one is quieter because it's so close.
Well, I would also say and this may or may not matter to you, but if you get a lot of movement in the right direction on the HPA-esque bill, that might make it super hard to get anything. You might be able to get a mask today or, right away, right?
That's also
I don't know. I'm
great
not saying
point.
you do that, but if you were leaning towards mask and you thought that maybe everyone was going to get a little behind, that might be a easy thing to help you decide.
That's a great point. Availability comes into play, even now. because a lot of people are buying
And
cans.
we're behind on mask. We haven't been caught up on masks for a long time. Not to say that masks don't go out, but we're behind.
We got Utah Shooters in the chat.
Nice.
My Sandman S has just passed the 10,000 rounds. Thought you should know. OG fan right here.
Outstanding. And thanks for letting us come to your shoot.
Yeah. Great shoot.
That was a great shoot.
Just a couple weekends ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome.
The only complaint I had at the end, high winds came in a very dusty environment.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to have to maybe get a cornea transplant for all the dirt that went in my eyes.
Yeah.
But other than that, great shoot.
Yeah, I think.
And that's when we were cleaning up, so no big deal. But the dirt, it was memorable.
I'm glad it was right at the very end.
If that would have been at the beginning or the middle, that would have been a tough day.
This guy asked, "Are y'all drinking a little?"
No,
No, not this morning.
never drank at work.
I wonder if I'm sorry if it seems like we're maybe a little loose on a Friday morning. We're just happy to be doing a live and hanging out with the people. Does Key Micro work with the Mojave 9? Yeah, you can do that. It's a P series compatible. You can put a Key Micro adapter there in the back and do Key Micro muzzle devices on your PCCs or whatever you're trying to do that.
Yep, that's why they're 9mm, right? The
muzzle devices.
The bore in it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great way to go. Recommendations for 9mm and 40 cal cans.
9 and 40. You're, for the most part, going to have to do 45 for 40. There's very few 40 cans out there at this time. Not a super popular thing. 40 and 10, obviously, if you see a can that's 10mm, that'd be what you're after there. But
Yeah.
for us, Mojave 9 and 45. Or you could do 45 and put 9 through it as well,
Yeah.
if you only want to do one.
Mojave 45 would do them both. Ghost would do them both.
Primal would do them both if that fit your bill.
Yep.
But I'm thinking pistol can, right?
Oh, yeah. Mojave 45. Tiger says, tuning in at work. Hope I don't get fired. Likewise, my man. Thanks for joining. Hope you don't get fired.
Yeah, that wouldn't be worth it.
He
Don't get fired.
also asked, where do I get a frog skin button up? These are on our website. In the apparel section of our website, you can get one of these button-up shirts. We also have them in a couple solid colors.
I'd get some.
You want some?
I kind of do.
Okay.
Maybe I should wait till Trent gets back. He usually kind of holds my hands through that so I don't mess up the inventory.
Yeah.
Mostly I just tell Trent. He's like, okay, I'll get it.
I'll take care of it.
I'll get it out of there for you. I'm like, get smart. Otherwise, that's my little handwritten note or however I do it in there. You're probably not going to like when it comes time to inventory.
Okay. This guy, oh, I lost it. The guy who asked about the SIG, whether or not he should get the SIG can or the Sandman X, he commented again, said, thank you so much for the feedback, guys. He said, I do want the SIG setup, but debating because the Sandman X seems to live up to its hype and looks badass, to be honest. So,
Well, no wrong answer there on
Yeah.
that one. That's a tough one.
appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Tika 260 bench gun. I am sharing a Nomad TIXC on it now with my Supreme 300 Black. What can do you suggest for a dedicated for my 260? I'm all in on Xeno if that matters.
Well, 260, we don't really have a 6.5 can dedicated. 30 cans are. You want to get another Nomad?
Yeah.
That'd be kind of the. I'd probably do a L in standard, or fill in the one that you don't have there. He said he had Nomad, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nomad TIXC.
Okay, then I'd get a regular I'd get TIX, the L. That would be
Oh,
my
yeah.
move, right?
Get the LTI.
Then you'd have two. You could bounce mounts.
Yeah, that's the move.
It'd sound good, and then you could pick between long and short, right?
Yeah.
Kind of fill in.
I'd love to hear that Nomad on the Supreme 300 Black. That's a Henry lever gun.
Well, it would sound.
I'm sure it's all. I'm
That's
sure
the
that's
very
awesome.
quietest 300 Black can that we have.
I'm sure that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that L would be even better on that 260, probably.
Unless you wanted to make it short, right? Like for hunting or whatever, then you could pick. See?
Options.
Mm-hmm.
Just built a 6 Creedmoor bolt gun. If I was to get a can, should it be direct thread? Even if I build more bolt guns and want to use it for a 6.5 PRC. I'm new to bolt guns.
You could certainly do bolt gun. I mean, direct thread on a bolt gun.
Yeah, I don't know that I could give you a. This is what you should do. I think that using using Xeno is really convenient.
Well, if there are different threads on these bolt guns, then that would certainly make it easier. I do a little bit of direct thread, but that's like my least favorite thing. I only do it when I have to do that. I'd do Xeno and chemo. Xeno on the bolt guns. I would, if it were me doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you're going to have one can, say you get a Nomad TIXC, that'll be nice on both of those calibers. Do Xeno, then you don't need to worry about the thread pitches being different on the barrels. You'll be able to switch that back and forth.
Yeah, if you have a half and a 5/8 per se, the can won't know. You don't have to take anything off and switch it.
All right. Just got my Mojave 9 for my Strybog. First dead air can. Very excited.
Nice.
Welcome.
That's actually a really good sounding, and that is a good host. The more I'm around that, the more I kind of like that. We did it at Palmetto State. We shot the tar out of a couple Strybogs. Beautiful.
I have a B&T 45 ACP subgun. Which suppressor would you recommend, Primal or the new Mojave 45?
I'd probably do Primal on it, but I like the look of a bigger can on a subgun. And it might go back to my Mac type. That's what my mind thinks is the right thing to have it look like. For me, but there's no wrong way to do that.
I was going to say Mojave 45 until you said the look of a bigger can on a subgun, and I do agree with that.
But maybe a Mojave 45 is the right thing with it's a little like lighter, lower back pressure, configurable for length. You got to decide.
Yeah.
I'm just saying what I'd do.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll have a little more modularity with the Mojave 45.
You will. Hey, if you have a bunch of pistols, then that would be an easy move down onto a bunch of it kind of depends. On the other hand, what if you had a bunch of lever guns? You do the
primal. Yeah.
Right?
How do you guys recommend cleaning the mask? Anything particular to avoid?
My favorite way to do it is stainless pin tumbler, water, a little bit of dish soap, and turn the baffles. If you take a zip tie and stick it on the spacer, the very first, it's not a baffle, it's like a spacer by where you thread it on to the firearm. Just put a zip tie through there so it doesn't lock on to other baffles while it's turning. I do that. Don't put the front caps or the tube in, and just kind of clean those out as best you can, however you want. A little Scotch-Brite or something like that you can turn on a drill inside the tube. Super good. That part's pretty easy to do usually. And I just let the baffles run until they look pretty much brand new, and then slide it back together. That's how I do it, my preferred way.
There you go. I was going to say something about that, but I forgot. I lost my train of thought. I have over 1,000 rounds on my Mojave 9 and looking to clean it. I'm afraid if I put it overnight in a CLR mixture, it will ruin its finish. What would you recommend?
You know, CLR general speak is pretty good on the finish. It's actually not too bad. I might get that. I'm having it's like an early onset Alzheimer's kind of a.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, I've got that. What's the brand of the suppressor cleaner that comes with
the Breakthrough?
Yeah, Breakthrough Clean. Thank you.
Yeah, that's kind of a favorite around here.
Get a Breakthrough Clean kit. That seems super easy on finish if finish is what you're worried about. That'd be good. I could see it. I could see the green. Just couldn't say it.
Any erosion worries for 12.5-inch 5.56 with a Nomad 30 with a Nomad TI XC, slow range shooting / predator hunting?
No.
Yeah, as long as you keep, I mean, it sounds like you noted at the end, you're being conscious about slow range shooting and predator hunting. So,
yeah, I wouldn't worry about that at all.
yeah, it sounds like you know why you're asking. So as long as you're conscious of that, you should be all right.
It's getting it real hot that'll really accelerate that. You'll be good.
Thoughts on Cerakoting suppressors?
Yeah.
We do that.
Normal business.
Yeah.
You can have anybody do it. We do the air cure, slow dry, high temp. Plug the ends, blast it, normal prep. Let it dry. I think it's like 3 days, 4 days, something like that. Done.
Oh. Similar on the same line of thought here. On the Wolfman, okay to have it custom Cerakoted. Mine is a bit scratched up, changing adapters, etc.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, please do.
I mean, I would say make sure you take it to someone who kind of knows what they're doing. You'll want a high temp Cerakote on that for sure.
Yeah, the air cure, right?
Okay, here's an interesting question from Next Shot Precision. He said e-brake for the Laz and Sandman X, and said, "Love you, Justin." Thanks, Jim. Love you too, man.
No.
No, yeah, e-brake for the Laz and Sandman X would be. I don't know how we would do that, but it
It's
would be
got
a
those
full
little
redesign.
vents, so no.
Yeah, we don't recommend putting an e-brake on those because you will block your front vents. So, yeah, that's not. We don't recommend doing that, and we're not currently. We don't necessarily have a new thing coming out or anything like that. Pew Pew Daily. Do y'all sell the mid-sized chemo flash hiders that come with the Sandman X separately?
Yes.
Yes, we do. Those would just be Key Micro flash hiders. That's a Key Micro 3-prong flash hider in the thread pitch of your choice. They come with the Sandman X in 5/8 by 24, but you can get them in other thread pitches, a couple others. And those are just on our website. 6mm arc solutions. Well, you could do Lazarus 6.
Or any 30 can.
Yeah, or a Nomad.
Sandman X.
Or Sandman X, yeah. Depends
regular
on.
Sandman. L, K, S. A lot of choices there.
Yeah. If it's a gas gun, I might recommend Lazarus or
Agreed.
Sandman X. But if you're looking at a bolt gun, maybe do a Nomad.
And if you want it to be really quiet, maybe a Nomad L.
Sorry. I forgot about the
No,
Nomad
I'm
L.
just saying, like, there's a lot of choices there. If it was a gas gun, I might even do a Wolverine. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm not. That's what I would do.
I'm glad that we got here.
Last Friday, we went after work shooting, like, company. Sometimes we do that. A little bonding thing. Took over the range. You know what I shot up there? No, I'll just tell you, because how would you know?
6 arc through a Wolverine?
Now I shot 5.56 through a Wolverine on a rifle, AR-15 rifle, like A3 or 4, whatever you want to call it, with like the Marine Corps ACOG. What a setup! I love that.
20-inch barrel.
Yeah, rifle, right?
Sorry, yeah.
Sorry, a 20-inch rifle, like rifle buffer,
Yeah, not just rifle length
gas
barrel.
tube,
Got it.
rifle barrel.
Yeah.
I should have clarified that because people think a 16-inch rifle's a rifle, but is it not a carbine? It's the shorter version. Collapsible.
I'm gonna defer to you on that one.
Well, I don't think there's any real. This isn't one of those. I'm not trying to make one of these silencer suppressor things where people get all angry. And I'm like, you should call Silencer Shop or Silencer Co. and tell them that. Like, calm down, bro. I don't want to start an argument about, whether 16-inch rifles are rifles. It's cool.
Well,
But when I say rifle, think big.
yeah, the big one.
Yeah.
And
Musket, you might say.
20-inch with a Wolverine on is a substantial
Yeah.
total package.
Or I would think of it as just right.
Just right. So, yeah.
But it's user perspective. There's no wrong answer here.
Yeah.
There was a musket there, wasn't there, Mike?
There was an actual
musket.
Yeah.
Truck from the warehouse had a bunch of weird stuff.
Trevor he was pouring powder down the front and stuffing things down the front and like yelling out like it's gonna be loud or whatever. It was. Don't get me wrong, I love Trevor, but man, he can be freaking annoying on a range. And then, which I think is totally cool because I'm a fan, but then he's all of a sudden like 6ing up a freaking storm with his new CMP M1 Garand, which is nice, but maybe not appropriate if you work at a silencer company to bring a muzzle loader and a Garand to the range when, like, Trevor, if you see this, we love you. I do. But quit that at the range.
I'm absolutely certain that he's listening to this.
No, he's. Don't be mad. I'm just kidding. You keep bringing your Grand. You know I'm a Grand fan, but I'm pretty serious about the muzzleloader deal.
Bring your musket.
Quit doing that.
Oh, don't bring your musket. Sorry.
Let's not do that anymore. It's just weird, dude.
I'll say this about a muzzleloader. First gun I ever owned was actually a muzzleloader.
No way.
And as I think back to it, it's crazy how much I shot that gun knowing very little about it.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't, at the time, I didn't know anything about ballistics or what effect different amounts of powder was going to have. All my young brain knew was like more powder, more boom, more power, right? And I was playing it pretty fast and loose.
It doesn't work that way, though.
With the loads. And it's insane that anyone let me do that.
I did the same thing.
That's all I have to say about it.
I did one of those little kits that has like a duck foot, like 3 barrels.
Uh-huh.
I shot that quite a bit for a couple months. I never hit anything with it, but I still shot it. And I did the same thing. That's where I figured out you could fill a muzzle loader barrel up halfway as long as you tamp the ball down. I mean, it could be a foot of powder.
You'll be all right.
Yeah. And no one, well, I've got 9 of the, that was a saw accident, not a gun. But, yeah, I learned a lot about that.
Oh
I
my
should have been more
gosh, yeah.
supervised as well.
I should have been. But, yeah, well, I mean, we had a good time.
A guy tried to give me a couple muzzle loaders a while back.
Neff in the chat has asked if, has anyone ever suppressed a musket?
Yes. Yes. I think Silencer Co. Maxim 50.
Oh.
Yeah, you could get that. Well, I don't think they do it anymore. I don't think it really worked out that well for him because, you know, I mean, it has its challenges, let's say, but I'll bet they're out there.
It feels like that would be
A bad boot move.
really dirty.
Yeah, and like I said, but you could rinse it out with like a hose, take it in the shower with you. Black powder rinses right out with water.
Yeah. Easy to clean.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
Well, it might be, you might be able to find that on the internet somewhere.
I think we should get off the muzzle loading. People do not care
Yeah.
about
Sorry, everyone. Yeah.
Blowing up about muzzleloaders, right?
Oh,
I'm sorry for,
I would
yeah.
think that this is a smokeless powder like metallic cartridge crowd, but what do I know? Maybe they're super into that. Maybe it's us that are weird. Okay, this guy tried to give me a couple muzzleloaders. I was like, thanks, but no thanks. Like, what am I going to do with them? Store them? Like,
Multiple.
I don't do that. I don't do
Several.
two.
Okay.
Two muzzleloaders.
A couple, yeah.
They were nice. Knights inline rifles, you know, shotgun primer type modern muzzleloaders. But I was like, but I don't want them.
Yeah.
Like, why?
All right. Well, a muzzleloader, I hope everyone tries it once.
Yeah, I agreed.
All right. We can move on. We can move on now. We'll
Sure.
move on now.
If somebody has a muzzleloader question, we can answer, but I bet we can't answer because we're not real fluent in that.
This guy said, we need a dead air tee that says, that's how I would do it. Could be good. That's a good,
like
that's a
that.
good Mike
I
quote.
actually do like that.
Yeah, that's how I would do it.
Now, I'm not saying you should do it. I'd put that on the shirt too. That's just as important.
2 T's.
Yeah, but it could be front and back.
Okay. We're moving on. We got more questions here. What's the best suppressor available for 300 Win Mag that you offer?
This is going to sound kind of weird, but I'd say it's twofold in that a Nomax 33 is actually super good on that, but a long Nomad TIXCL, probably the best suppressor that we offer for that.
I was sure you were going to say Wolverine.
Normally I would say that that's probably not something I'd put a Wolverine on. I don't feel like it's got enough volume. I could be wrong about that. I mean, in a crisis, I would. But that is the one case I wouldn't do Wolverine. One of the few cases.
Yeah. Yeah, Nomax 33 and Nomad LTIXC.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Would any of your silencers work on a 9mm Glock? Was thinking having a quieter gun for home defense might be a good idea using subsonic ammo.
Got a lot of choices for that,
Yeah,
actually.
you could get it to run.
I would think Mojave be choice 1, Wolfman be choice 2. You could also do Odessa, and if you wanted it really small, for that.
For like a self-defense
4
gun?
or 5 baffles, so it was super small, but yet just kind of knocked the edge off and didn't ring you, like made it comfortable. And you could do, I wouldn't suggest this, you physically could do primal, but you shouldn't, but you could. So there's that. I just want to throw that out there as an option.
Is that another t-shirt? You shouldn't, but you could.
Yeah, you actually could. Like if that's all you had, I'd do it.
Yeah, Mojave 9's great because
Mojave
low
45.
back pressure, or Mojave
Ghost.
45. There's a lot that you could do.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you know this, but there can be some suppressing a handgun. You can have trouble cycling. You might have to mess around with spring weights a little bit to get it cycling reliably. That's kind of part of the game. But I do think Mojave 9 lower back pressure tends to help with that. So
That'd be choice A for me.
yeah. What else we got here? Oh yeah, show them the dog cam real quick. We'll check in quickly with our local canine correspondent.
That dog is freaking out.
Yeah, he's snoozing.
He's balled up.
This is Maroof, one of the many dogs of dead air. Okay. What else we got here? Here's a question we're getting quite a bit lately. How does the RXD 30 Ti compare to the Nomad TIXC on a bolt gun?
It's very comparable. I'd say the biggest thing is it incorporates the e-brake into it. So you don't have to have the extra length or buy that. And it's probably right there in the middle for overall quiet on a meter. I'd say it's just going to be just under the regular length Nomad or just over the Nomad L.
Yeah, lengthwise you come in kind of right in between.
And sound-wise as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a night and day difference, but yes, the long Nomad's quieter than the standard length Nomad, and that RXD comes right in the middle of the two for sound. So great sounding can.
Oh, this is Ryan over at Radian going to shoot 6 arc with the last 6 later today. Well done, boys.
Nice, thank you.
Thank you. I hope that, let us know how that goes. Next shot precision again. Thoughts on a short Nomax? Nomad TIXC sized for the 8.5 inch 338 arc gas guns and short rifle builds.
Short Nomax. Do not wait by the phone. There's,
Could be fun, but
there are shorter, and I get what you're saying. It's not the most geared to 8.6 blackout. It's not. There's shorter cans for that out there that are kind of more geared to the volume of that. That particular can is more Lapua geared. It's a larger bottleneck Magnum case.
I do know that the guys at Next Shot do like the Nomax for their 338 arc builds.
Which is
They have been enjoying that.
like it's like the biggest can that you'd want to put on, right? Maybe that is super good there. Look, I'm a fan of a longer can. I get it. I would probably choose that if we had something more appropriate to those smaller case capacity cartridges. That's just, I'm not saying you do that, but I would do that.
It's a good thought. Could be fun.
No, I say
Probably not going to happen anytime soon.
yeah, and I only say that not because it's not a great idea or that we don't want to do it, but we have slated for the next couple years of things that we really want to do, and that's just not one of them. 33 cal rifle cans are not a very big part of the market for us, and it's trying to keep your eye on, stay in business and all that stuff.
Okay, best can for 350 Legend.
Well, I would think that would be Wolfman. If you're gonna, 350 is 9mm, so it does shoot 9mm pistol bullets, right? So you've got your bigger 9mm can, and Wolfman would be hard to beat on that. You could do Mojave. It will do Mojave, but it's gonna be lacking a little bit in the volume kind of department.
Best can for 4570. Primal.
Yep, Primal.
That'll be your Primal.
Plus, it's the only can we have for it, too,
Yeah.
so that makes it even.
That's an easy.
Even I could get that right.
Yep. Appreciate the easy question on that one.
Yeah, but it is a great 4570 can, and it is primarily developed on 4570. So, even though it's the only one, it's still a super good choice.
Okay. Well, we've been at this just about an hour. So probably about time we wrap things up.
Time flies when we do this.
I'm going to hit this one last question. It's interesting. Other than the obvious issue of blocking optics, what other reasons are there to make a can longer versus thicker? Is one dimension more important than the other for noise reduction?
My experience, and we could probably get someone that was more, or not that I'm an engineer on any level, but my experience, how you get the volume is kind of irrelevant as long as you have the volume, right? So, yes, I think something that was, what would the kids say, tuna can? That can sound super good, right?
Sound great.
Or you could get that same volume in a very long needly like Odessa, right? I think it's kind of a game of volume, and I don't know that it matters how you do it as much. What do you think?
I mean, I think I don't know what I'm sure there's an optimal point for both, right? And I'd imagine there's as far as going longer, past a certain point, or I guess at what point are you going to get in trouble with like the flight path of your projectile?
I've got an answer for that 100%.
Yeah.
Once your can gets so long, like if you put, like, let's say part of a Wolfman screwed that onto part of like a L, it's gonna get louder. You cannot, once you have so much volume, you make your can a foot long, it gets loud because of it's like letting the air out of an air compressor. There's just so much, like after the event and the bullet's long gone, that gas pressure's still coming down, right? So you can't have, too big is not good. There is a point where too big, you don't want to thread a fire extinguisher and make that into a can. That'd be bad.
Huh.
So you got that going, and you also need a little bit of length time to get the more that you can have the flame extinguished, the cooler the exit temp of the gas that's coming out of your suppressor is going to be, and the quieter it's going to be, right? The less temp differential. So, I mean, there's a little bit of a game there, but loosely, I would tell you it centers around volume and not so much the length. But I promise too much length is not good.
All right. I liked that question because it was a little different than what we usually get.
Yeah, that's a hard question. That may take a little bit more of a conversation than a quick question, right?
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing we'd go back and forth and explain on a little bit. But there it is in a nutshell.
Yeah. Great question. I like that, people are just thinking about it.
Yeah, fair. And I think we all think about things like that. What if?
All right. Just because it got called out by a couple guys real quick, and I know we didn't get to everyone's questions. We're going to wrap it up here. If we didn't get to your question, send us an email, info@deadairsilencers.com. Give us a call. Numbers on the website. And we can get you guys' questions answered. Quick little flash round here. Best can for a 26-inch 6.5 Creedmoor bolt gun. You said Nomad LTI XC. That's going to be probably your quietest option if that's what you're looking for. And then this guy said best can for all around use. That's a tough question because I don't really know what all around use is, but I'm going to go ahead and say maybe Sandman X, as long as you're staying in 30 cal.
Wolverine. Like, sorry, if you're talking all around, you have a whole world of communist. It's like a communist wonderland out there. You can hook onto all that trash and all the normal nice guns. I think Wolverine.
There you go.
Down in that case.
There you go. Wolverine, best can for all around use.
And I'd say you do that for all around use. I support it.
There
Not
you
just
go.
me, all of us.
That's it. Once again, guys, Blade Show is happening this weekend in Atlanta. Our guys are there. They do have the Dead Air Axe there for sale. So if you have not heard of the Dead Air Axe, that is a collaboration that we did with Winkler Knives. So it's a small axe made by Winkler, and they are for sale at Blade Show. They have 25 units there for sale. After Blade Show, once those units are sold, a small number will be made available first to our Asylum members. They will get a shot at those last ones first, and then they'll go up on the e-store on our website. So if you have not seen the Dead Air Axe, there is a little overview video on our YouTube channel. There's also a post on Instagram. You can go check it out online. And other than that, thanks everyone for tuning in. Everyone have a good weekend.
Yeah, have a great weekend. See you guys.